I overheard it while doing my laundry in the basement. My parents were sitting in the living room, sipping coffee, and laughing like it was some harmless joke. "Some kids make you proud," my dad said, smirking. "Others just take up space." I froze mid-motion, my hands still on the laundry basket. Who are they talking about? I muttered to myself. I knew. They were talking about me. I could feel the weight of every word, each syllable cutting deeper than any argument ever could. Not because it was harsh, but because it was casual, careless, and constant. For years, subtle jabs, small insults disguised as jokes, comparisons to friends' kids, comments about my achievements, or lack thereof. I had smiled. I had nodded. I had laughed along to avoid conflict, to avoid being seen as sensitive. But this time, I didn't laugh. I didn't nod. I didn't respond. I finished the laundry quietly, folded it, and went to my room. I sat on my bed, thinking, why am I letting them dictate my self-worth? Why am I shrinking myself to make them comfortable? Why do their words, offhand or intentional, still hold power over me? That night, I packed a bag, clothes, essentials, some important documents, a small amount of cash. No explanation, no confrontation, no dramatic exit. I just left. The morning was cold, crisp, the streets empty. I drove without a destination in mind. Hey, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the bell. Your support means everything and helps me keep creating. Thank you so much. Each mile away from the house felt like shedding an invisible weight I didn't even realize I was carrying. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't post on social media. I simply vanished. At first, it felt like running away. Then, slowly, it felt like reclaiming space. For the first time in years, I wasn't performing to meet their standards. I wasn't shrinking to avoid their disapproval. I was just me. No judgment, no mockery, no expectation. I spent the first week in a small apartment I rented quietly. No one knew my location. I cooked my meals, organized my days, slept, worked, and slowly, deliberately began to feel peace I hadn't felt in years. Meanwhile, I didn't hear from them. Not a call, not a message. I realized they assumed I would come back, that I couldn't survive without their supervision. They were wrong. Each day of silence, each day of independence, built a quiet authority I hadn't known I could possess. I didn't confront them. I didn't punish them. I simply let the absence speak. And absence has a clarity no argument can ever match. For the first time, I controlled my own life. I controlled my space. I controlled my peace. And they would have to notice, because I wasn't vanishing to escape them. I was vanishing to find myself. The days turned into weeks. I didn't reach out. I didn't respond to texts. I ignored missed calls. I didn't check social media. I let the silence exist. At first, the absence felt strange. My parents had grown used to controlling my schedule, dictating my actions, and guiding, even criticizing every choice I made. Every holiday, every meal, every plan was subtly under their influence. Now, none of that applied. I was untethered. I started building a new rhythm. Mornings were mine, long walks, coffee at my favorite cafe, reading books I had ignored for years. Work became a sanctuary instead of a point of tension. Nights were calm, no arguments simmering in the background. For the first time, my home didn't feel like a stage where I had to perform to gain approval. Meanwhile, the impact on them began. My parents called a family meeting at the house. My sister tried to argue, "We should tell them to call you." But my dad looked hesitant, unsure how to proceed. The words they had once wielded as control now felt useless. "They'll come back," my mom muttered to herself. "They always do." But I didn't. One evening, My sister showed up at my apartment. She knocked softly. I opened the door, calm, composed. I wanted to see you, she said, voice trembling. Why? I asked, not cold, just deliberate. So you can say what? That we were right to mock you. She flinched. I miss you. I nodded slowly. Then respect my space. That's how you show it. She looked at me, searching for anger, resentment, something she could argue with. She found none. Only calm authority. Only the knowledge that I had boundaries now. Mom and Dad, she started. I don't speak for them. I said, I only speak for myself. If you want a relationship with me, it's on terms of respect, not mockery. Her silence confirmed it. She understood. Weeks later, my parents reached out hesitantly. We'd like to talk, my mom said in a quiet text. I replied simply, we'll talk when everyone is ready to respect boundaries. No excuses, no justification, no begging, just clarity. Over the following months, small changes happened. Conversations were different. Interactions lacked the subtle judgment and sarcasm that had defined years of tension. I didn't need to assert dominance or lecture anyone. I just maintained my space, my calm, my integrity. It was strange at first. Family dinners were quiet. My parents tested the waters. My sister tried small jabs, sarcastic remarks. But each time, I didn't react. I didn't defend. I simply stayed present on my own terms. And gradually, they noticed. They realized the person they had once controlled, mocked, and underestimated had changed. I was still me, but no longer a passive participant in their expectations or insults. I had authority now, not through confrontation, but through restraint, boundaries, and calm consistency. The house dynamic shifted slowly but irreversibly. Respect began to replace sarcasm. Requests replaced orders. And most importantly, I had taught them a lesson without raising my voice. Presence and attention are privileges, not obligations. Vanishing had been more than an escape. It had been a declaration, a statement that I would no longer allow my value to be measured by mockery, casual insults, or dismissive comments. And as time passed, the quiet changes became permanent. They thought breaking contact would hurt me. Instead, it reshaped the entire relationship. I wasn't absent to punish. I was absent to teach. And the lesson was heard, loudly, without a single shouted word. Months later, the shift was clear. My parents approached me cautiously, no lectures, no sarcasm. My sister stopped testing boundaries. Conversations were calm, respectful, and intentional. They realized that trying to control or mock me no longer worked. I didn't need to prove anything. I wasn't angry. I was firm. My presence became voluntary, meaningful, and respected. I set the terms. The absence had spoken louder than any argument could. I hadn't vanished to punish them. I had vanished to reclaim myself. And in that quiet reclaiming, the family dynamic changed forever. Boundaries replaced judgment, respect replaced mockery, and I finally understood the quiet power of stepping back and letting people face themselves.